Welcome back. Well, as promised, we have an incredible guest, an entrepreneur that you are not going to want to miss. His name is Chef Geoff, and once again, he graces us with his presence. Welcome back to the show, Chef Geoff.
Thanks for having me again.
For the viewers who missed the first time that we had you on the show, talk a little bit about your experience in the military and then jumping feet first into entrepreneurship, because it's not easy.
Oh, no, it's not easy at all. You know, did almost 13 years in the Navy as a cook, then become a chef. And hated my job at one time, wanted to be a pilot, then found out I was good at what I did.
That was cooking.
It was cooking, yeah. And it actually became a hobby. It became a passion. And then, you know, a lot of people said I was crazy for getting out after almost getting close to retirement.
Yeah.
And I took a leap of faith. And I got medically separated. I kind of pushed for that, but because I wanted to, you know, pursue what I want to do in life.
And entrepreneurs coming out of the veteran community are so successful because I think they're so focused. They don't take no for an answer. No. It's like, this is not going to fail, right?
No, it's not.
And you're not getting shot at in the kitchen, right? So you're like, I'm good.
We're going to do it. We don't take no as an answer.
Yep.
Sometimes my staff, they give me a hard time with that. I look at it like a captain of a ship. The ship could be broken. The engine room could be down. Could be one engine going, and he said, we're going out to sea, we're going on the way. And everybody's like, you're crazy, we can't go on the way, we don't work. We said, no, we're staying on schedule. And they still go out to sea, they still get the job complete.
Right.
Everybody's a little miserable, but like, oh, wow, we did it. So I kind of take the same route where I don't take no as an answer. I jump in head first.
And you just got out how long ago?
It's been 18 months now.
Okay, so 18 months, feet first into being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And how has that worked out for you?
It has ups and downs. It had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It's like, as an entrepreneur, it's like it's never no middle ground. It's either very real high and things are glorifying, or very low and things that hit rock bottom, because we take a lot of risk.
You do take a lot of risk. And for those who are watching, obviously this is our entrepreneur segment, and we talk about highs and lows and successes and failures. What keeps you going during those lows when you're experiencing what you feel might be a failure? What keeps you going?
Okay, you know what I say? If I walk away, now what? You know, like what? Like if I walk away, then what I'm gonna do? Go look for a job? Like what's gonna make me happy for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So I just gotta keep pushing. And some days where I feel down, I can't even get out of bed because I'm like, wow, how am I gonna get through the days, get through the week? I do have friends I call on and family members, and I say, hey, you know what? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, and they're pushing me. They say, no, you have this something special in you. What do you need? How can we help you? And one of the things in the military I learned is pride. You can't let pride hold you down, because if nobody knows what's going on in your life, they can't help you.
Right.
I hate to be the person that shut my restaurant down because I have a certain issue without giving you. And then I walk the street and I say, well, we had some financial issues, so I had to shut it down. Chef, why did you tell me? I just came into some money. I could have helped you out.
Yep.
And you never know if you don't open your mouth.
Right.
So.
What a great tip.
Yeah.
Follow that pride and
Yes.
network, and don't be afraid to reach out when you're struggling.
Yes.
And so some of those highs, I mean, you were you shared the stage at an event on Saturday called Clever Talks, and
Yes.
Mark Cuban was there, obviously from Shark Tank, and people were asking you questions. You're on this very nice panel with
Yes.
other veterans who've had their highs and lows. And one of the questions that they asked you was, what are books that you're reading currently that's helped you become successful? And your answer was?
Yeah, when he asked me that, I was like, because everybody will ask me, what book have I read? First, I had to explain to them, I have a master's degree, and I'm a certified chef. I got a bunch of certifications, but I have never read a book. Never read a book cover to cover. I'm a researcher. I like to research. If you look into my computer, my laptop always has 10 to 15 browsers up at one time, but it's hard for me to stay focused on one book, and just because my mind is always going.
Yeah. So nothing from start to finish, which is a relief for us with ADHD.
Yes.
You can still be successful,
yes.
obviously, in business and not be somebody who reads cover to cover books. So tell us about some of your successes, because you've had some pretty recent great successes. And again, we want to keep in mind, you're only 18 months old.
Yes, yes. You know, government contracts have been big. You know, not that, you know, I opened my restaurant about 7 months ago. I have a contract with the military down here in San Diego. Everyone who joins the military in San Diego eats my food first when they join.
Wow.
Through military enlisted processing center.
So they're eating gourmet food.
No, not gourmet food. It's a contract, so they say they need 7 ounces of meat, they need bread. It's a contract, but we're still fulfilling that contract. And on the top of that, recently we just started a big project up in the Stockton area, North California, where we're feeding troubled teens about 150 a day, 4 times a day, 7 days a week for a year.
Wow.
So, you know, they don't, right now, it's an old Army National Guard base. Everything was down. Pretty much they turned the lights back on. They said, okay, we're going to use this facility to train these kids. But hold up, where are we going to feed them? There's no dining facility here, right? So they put out a bid, a solicitation for caterers. And, you know, and that was, when I found that solicitation, that was one of my downtimes. I'm saying, you know what, finance is getting tough, bills are getting higher. The more money you make, the more higher your bills get. So, you know, I'm in the living room like, you know, what's next? Let me look for a contract. And I found that one. I'm like, this can't be so. This is, you know, this can't be true. It's helping troubled teens out in a military facility, doing what I know how to do, and it'll get the company to the next level.
Yeah.
So we bid on the contract. We were the only ones that bid on the contract. And it was very, very, very well paying off at the same time, helping kids at the same time. So I flew a crew. I called a bunch of old military buddies out as one of my good friends. We served 10 years ago as a project manager. Another chef. We served together in Jacksonville about 8 years ago. And I said, hey, I need you guys' help. What are you doing? Let's move to Stockton. And they took the offer, and they run there. Now after a week of going there, I took I took the wheels off, and it's on its own.
Wow. And so you, again, from your military experience, you've got that network there. You called on your buddies and said, hey, guys, I've got this contract. Now what? Come out and help. They're now living out in Stockton and working this project for you for the next year.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It is. It's very blessed. And it's just like the military connection is so great. Even down here, down at the home base, somebody else, 2 other people I served with is helping me with day-to-day operation, administrative, helping keep the business going.
Yeah. So what advice for those folks who are watching who may be entrepreneurs right now and they're struggling, or folks that are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, what tips of advice would you be giving them right now?
One of the biggest things I would say is what Mark Cuban told me. You know, me and Mark Cuban, we had mogul talks, some
now
special cloth.
Right?
You were tight. We talked for about a good 10 or 15 minutes. That's why, you know, I only hang with billionaires now.
Yeah, all right,
So
all right. 18 months out, you've got a restaurant started, you've got this great contract in Stockton, and you're hanging with the big boys.
Yeah, so Mark Cuban, he said something, and it took me a lot of money to realize this also, and he was true, and I knew what he was talking about. Let's stop spending time on raising money and getting sales first to get the job done. So sometimes you take all this money and say, all right, like somebody will say, I want a janitorial company, for instance, right? Which I have a janitorial company on the side.
Right.
Yeah, I know. At night time we have a little small janitorial company we maintain. But instead of going to get cleaning gears, mop supplies, vans, before you have anything set up, get the contract first, and then worry about getting the money later.
Right.
So if you have a solicited contract that says, hey, you're going to make X amount of dollars for this service, then you buy the equipment and tools, because if you spend $50,000 trying to start a business with no clientele first,
Right. What's the point?
what's the point? You're already losing.
Great. Well, thank you so much for all of your advice. Thank you for your story. I can't wait to have you come back again in a few months, because I'm sure you and Mark Cuban are going to be starting restaurants together.
Yes.
Well, how do we get a hold of you? I think you've got Admiral's Experience.
AdmiralsExperience.com, info@AdmiralsExperience.com. You can Google me, Instagram, Facebook, Chef Geoff Cole, hashtag Chef Geoff Cole. They're very easy to find.
All right. Well, thank you again for gracing us with your presence. It's always a pleasure.
All right, thank you.
We'll be right back with more of Operation American Dream. Don't go away.